Hi everyone, welcome to Teach English with Passion, a platform that is created to help all those teachers who strive to do their job appropriately. We present series of videos that combine theoretical knowledge and practice, showing teachers how they can design interesting teaching materials that would make both teaching and learning English more fun and more interactive. Eager to know more? Keep watching. Today's topic is teaching writing. In this video, we'll be talking about the different approaches to teaching writing, and basically we'll be much more concerned with the writing process and how to design a writing lesson. So, let's get started. There are two main approaches to teaching writing, the product-oriented approach and the process-oriented approach. Now, we're gonna look at some of the specificities of each approach. 1. The product-oriented approach. As the name suggests, this approach concentrates on the complete written product rather than on the different processes learners go through. So here the focus is on the final product rather than on the writing process itself. Also, in this approach, a good writing is judged in terms of accuracy, i.e., correct language structures. Teachers tend to give feedback on learners' final product, focusing on identifying and correcting problems related to language structures with a complete disregard to meaning. The process-oriented approach represents a shift in emphasis in teaching writing from the final product to the different stages the writer goes through in order to create this product. This approach stresses the teacher's role throughout the writing process. So, the teacher's role is not restricted to providing feedback on the final product. Rather, the teacher guides learners and provides feedback on their multiple drafts to help them produce more coherent compositions. Writing as a process incorporates moving backward and forward throughout a number of stages. The first one is pre-writing. At this stage, learners get introduced to the topic. Then they start to generate ideas about that topic using their prior knowledge or personal experiences to form a kind of a plan. The second stage is writing, referred to also as first drafting. Learners start to write, focusing much more on expressing their ideas, not on the mechanics of writing. At this stage, the teacher is there to guide and to provide feedback on learners' work. Once the first draft is finished, learners reconsider what they have written, taking into account their teacher's comments. This is the revising stage. Learners here examine their text critically to make changes at both levels, form and content. The last phase is editing. Learners proofread their final drafts for further error checking before handing them to the teacher. Now, let's look at some of the most widely used pre-writing strategies. The first one is brainstorming. It means listing freely all the ideas related to the topic. Learners use their prior knowledge to generate as much ideas as possible with less emphasis given to producing correct language structures. The second technique is called journalistic questions. Learners here ask and answer a number of WH questions about a given topic in order to generate more and more information. The questions they can ask include who, when, where, why, what, and how. Another interesting pre-writing strategy is clustering. It is a visual representation of ideas using graphic organizers. The writer here groups ideas together using lines and circles to show connections between them.
Time for practice.
In this part, we will see how to design a writing lesson, mainly dealing with the pre-writing and writing stages. The lesson is for second-year high school learners. Unit Make Peace, Write It Right. The objective of the lesson is as follows. Students will be able to write a poem to denounce prejudices associated with certain groups such as men, women, teens, and Muslims. The teacher starts with an activity to introduce the topic of writing and to familiarize learners with the new concept of prejudice. Learners take a couple of minutes looking at the picture and discussing with their partner the questions related to the picture. Then they interact and share their answers with their teacher. At the end of this interaction, learners are supposed to form a clear understanding of the topic, which is prejudices. The next step aims at brainstorming more and more the topic. The teacher asks learners to work in pairs for a few minutes to complete the spider map given, writing at least 3 prejudices associated with the groups given: men, teens, and Muslims. Later on, learners share their answers with their teacher and their classmates, making a list of the most relevant ideas on the board. Once the brainstorming is done, the class moves on to the writing phase. Learners make use of some of the ideas from the previous task to complete the poem, Down with Prejudices. Learners here are supposed to make use of the modal verbs can and could. To make this activity more fun and more competitive, the teacher can set a reward or a present for the best piece of writing. That's all for today's topic. Hopefully you find it helpful and useful. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you want me to deal with, leave a comment below. If you like the content of the video, subscribe now and share the video with your colleagues. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye.